from the International Speedway at Daytona Beach, Florida. It's the Firecracker 250. The fastest stock car races staged anywhere. That's the story of the Daytona International Speedway. And today's Firecracker 250 is no exception. Speeds up to 160 miles an hour are achieved by these roaring late model stock cars over the 2.5-mile track. Grand National Circuit racing at its roaring best. America's fastest growing sport, dangerous and exciting stock car racing. We'll be back in just a moment with exciting action from the Daytona International Speedway on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Before we get underway with today's Firecracker 250, I'd like to introduce to you the gentleman who'll be sharing the microphone duties. Mr. Bill France, who is the president of NASCAR, the president of Daytona International Speedway. And Bill, we have a wonderful day for the race.
Bill, it's wonderful to have the opportunity of bringing this race to so many people. We're looking for a great record here today, not only with an increase in attendance over last year, but also an increase in the speeds over last year's race. The pre-race trials indicate that.
All right, and working in the pit area will be the editor of National Speed Sport News, racing's leading publication, Chris Economaki. And Chris, you've got a big job today.
Yes, Bill, I'll be down in the pits talking with the chief mechanics after their drivers come in, and we'll cover the pit stops, the fueling, and the tires and so forth.
All right, well, we're just about ready to get underway, so let's go to our positions. And here we go. The pace lap is underway with Lee Petty driving the pace car for the Firecracker 250. Lee Petty, one of the all-time greats, former three-time NASCAR Grand National Circuit champion who was injured here in February, and we're very happy to see him back out on the track. He is leading the pace lap now as they go into the short straightaway here in front of the home stands. And now the cars are coming by in 15 rows of 2, 30 cars in all. And you can hear the roar as they go by us. And we'll start to spread out for this one time around on the pace lap, 2.5 miles, and then the race will be underway. So let's set the field for you. On the inside pole, car number 22, a 61 Pontiac, driven by Glenn Fireball Roberts of Daytona Beach, Florida. On the outside pole, car number 3, a white 61 Pontiac, driven by Dave Pearson of Spartanburg, South Carolina. Car number 8 on the inside of row 2, the red 61 Pontiac, driven by Joe Weatherly of Norfolk, Virginia. On the outside of row 2, number 94, 61 Ford by Banjo Matthews of Asheville, North Carolina. Car number 72 on the inside of row 3, a 61 Ford, driven by Bobby Johns of Miami, Florida. And on the outside of row 3, car number 20, the gold and black 60 Pontiac, driven by Marvin Pench, the winner of the Daytona 500 of Daytona Beach, Florida. Car number 28 in the 7th position, 61 Ford, driven by Freddie Lorenzen of Elmhurst, Illinois. And now you can see they're picking up the pace on the backstretch, gunning it up to 55 or 60 miles an hour. Car number 6, Ralph Earnhardt, is outside of row 4. Then number 29, Nelson Stacy, Cincinnati, Ohio. Car number 46, Jack Smith, the defending champion, driving a 61 Pontiac from Spartanburg, South Carolina. He is outside on row 5. Number 24 is Roscoe Thompson of Atlanta, Georgia. Car number 15, Jim Bennett of Daytona Beach. Car number 87, a 61 Chrysler, driven by Buck Baker of Spartanburg, South Carolina. Car number 76, a 61 Ford by Larry Frank. Car number 82, 61 Ford by Marvin Porter. Car number 5, a 61 Pontiac by Woody Wilson. Car number 11, Ned Jarrett of Newton, North Carolina, 61 Chevy. Car number 99, George Alsobrook, a 61 Ford. And now they're coming out of the number 4 turn, doing about 90 miles an hour as they come down. Lee Petty pulls to the side, and we'll be underway. 100 laps around this 2.5-mile track, the world's fastest auto racing track. And here they come with Fireball Roberts, car number 22. Flash by, and they get the green flag. And Joe Weatherly in the 61 Pontiac, number 8, pulled to the inside and went by Fireball Roberts and has taken the lead into the first turn. A very thrilling start of this 250-mile race, the Firecracker 250 from Daytona Beach, Florida. Fireball Roberts now running number 2 as Joe Weatherly sneaked on the inside and streaked out in car number 8. They roar down that 3,000-foot stretch of the back stretch, stringing out on the side. And we'll have our clock on them on this first lap. This is a record-breaking field, the fastest field in the history of NASCAR Grand National Circuit Championship racing. And here they come by. Out of the number 4 turn, this is the tri-oval. They'll come down, make a slight turn of 18 degrees of bank right in front of us. And Fireball Roberts regained the lead, and here he comes. Fireball Roberts regained the lead from Joe Weatherly. So officially, Fireball Roberts is the leader at the end of one lap. Weatherly second by a half a car length, and half a car length behind him now is Davy Pearson driving the 61 number 3. Now they go down the backstretch. Davy Pearson and Joe Weatherly, a real battle for second place as Fireball Roberts now has gotten out in front, and here comes the car up. It looks like Banjo Matthews in car number 94 has pulled on the inside. He's driving that red and white Ford, and he is now on the inside. A good race for second place with Joe Weatherly up high, on the inside, down low is Banjo Matthews with Fireball Roberts out in front. Dropping back to fourth place is car number 3, Davy Pearson of Spartanburg, South Carolina. And here they come at the end of lap 2. And Joe Weatherly is in second place. Banjo Matthews in third place. Davy Pearson in fourth place with Fireball Roberts setting a blistering pace. Fireball Roberts has a mechanic who is very well known to racing circles, Smokey Unick, who set his car up, as well as the one set up by Marvin Panch of Daytona Beach. He set a new record for the Daytona Speedway, 157.150. And he is leading this field. And as the cars flash by at the end of 5 laps, Fireball Roberts is still out in front with Joe Weatherly right behind him. And at the end of 5 laps, Fireball Roberts has been passed. For the 6th lap, out in front is Joe Weatherly in car number 8. He was in second place for the first 5 laps, but he has now taken the lead. Number 3 is car number 94, driven by Banjo Matthews. Car number 20 by Marvin Panch is in 4th place. And car number 3, driven by Dave Pearson, is in 5th place at the end of 5 laps. And they are coming off better than 156 miles an hour. Now a real good battle here as the cars are about 2 car lengths apart as they come out of the number 4 turn down the home stretch. And it's still Joe Weatherly out in front. The weathered veteran, 39 years old, from Norfolk, Virginia. Car set up by Bud Moore. Moving up. Car number 94 by Banjo Matthews. And Banjo Matthews challenging for the lead. He's on the inside, down low. That's a red and white car. He's got it. Banjo Matthews in the 61 who qualified at 155.056 miles an hour has now taken the lead. So we've had 3 different leaders now as they are coming at the end of the 7th. Now Joe Weatherly has forged ahead of Banjo Matthews. Fireball Roberts is in third. He goes high. Down on the inside is the red and white Ford of Banjo Matthews. Joe Weatherly out in front. Joe Weatherly driving car number 8. That's the 61 Pontiac. And here they come by. The leader car number 8. Joe Weatherly. And Weatherly goes streaking out in front. Right behind him is Fireball Roberts. And right behind Fireball Roberts is Banjo Matthews. A tremendous battle of speed on a perfect day for racing here at the world's fastest auto racing track, the Daytona International Speedway, 2.5 miles around. If you were to visualize this track from the air, it would look like a big D with the stem of the D, the straightaway on the backstretch, 3,000 feet long, and they're hitting speeds of 160 miles an hour down there. And Fireball Roberts has now regained the lead from Joe Weatherly. And let's watch them carefully now as they come by at the end of 8 laps. That's Fireball Roberts out in front, and right behind him is Joe Weatherly. And Marvin Panch has moved up to the 3rd place. Marvin Panch Pants driving car number 20. And as they go shooting down in front of us, Banjo Matthews has regained third place. As you can see, things can dramatically change very quickly in their speed. Fireball Roberts, Joe Weatherly, Banjo Matthews, Marvin Panch. That's the way they're strung out as they move down the backstretch. We're in the ninth lap of 100 laps. Car number 27 has moved in. Junior Johnson has moved into third place, averaging 155.172 for the race so far. It's still Fireball Roberts, Joe Weatherly, Marvin Panch. And they'll be getting their 10th lap. Here they come. Fireball Roberts still leading. Joe Weatherly just inches behind him, not more than 3 inches as they came by. Now, Fireball up high, streaks out in front with 2-car length lead. Weatherly is right behind him. Marvin Panch is third, and Junior Johnson has moved into 4th position. And we'll be coming up right now on the end of 10 laps of the thrilling Firecracker 250. From the International Speedway in Daytona Beach, Florida. Record speeds and a record crowd. And here they come. Down the home straightaway with Fireball Roberts out in front. He won this first Firecracker 250 in 1959. He's followed closely by Joe Weatherly. In third place is Marvin Panch. Junior Johnson is in 4th place. And in 5th place is Roscoe Thompson. A tremendous battle underway here at Daytona. One car is already out of the race. Roy Tyner has blown his engine up. He was in car number 38, a 61 Ford. So Roy Tyner of Red Springs, North Carolina, is the first car out of the race. We have 28 cars on the track right now. 1 car is in the pits. Car number 87 by Buck Baker of Spartanburg, South Carolina. A 61 Chrysler. They got the car up on jacks. At the end of 12 laps, the leader is still Fireball Roberts, followed by Joe Weatherly. They've just gone by the home straightaway and now into the number 1 turn. That's Roberts up high. He has the gold top. It actually looks white on your television screen, followed closely by the big number 8. Joe Weatherly, and that's the way they've been. They're in the 13th lap right now. Look at them go down that backstretch. 65 miles an hour down there. 2 Pontiacs battling it out. And now, Weatherly has taken the lead. He's gone up high. And Fireball Roberts is in 2nd place. The car in front of them, however, will be lapped. So your leaders are coming down right now. That's a slower car out in front. Here comes Weatherly out in front, followed by Fireball Roberts, passing car number 6, driven by Ralph Earnhardt. Marvin Panch is in 3rd place, Junior Johnson in 4th place, and Roscoe Thompson is in 5th place. So that's the way they line up now as they move into the 14th lap. Fireball Roberts is in 2nd place, following Joe Weatherly. Now, you'll hear a term used in stock car racing here at Daytona, and that is a term called drafting. Letting a car get out in front of you to break the air, and you, in a slower car, can move in behind and sort of be in the suction of that car out in front. It enables a slower car to run right with a faster car. Now, at the end of 14 laps, here they come. Joe Weatherly out in front, followed by Fireball Roberts, as the field begins to string out. In third place is car number 27 by Junior Thompson. And Marvin Panch is following him very closely. Joe Weatherly still has the lead. Well, we might ask Bill France, the president of NASCAR and the president of the Daytona International Speedway, to comment on this race. It's been remarkable in that we've gone almost 15 laps. Only 1 car has gone out of the race. 1 car is in the pits, and we've had 5 different leaders.
These cars and mechanics deserve a lot of credit. This is the fastest race so far.
And here they come. Joe Weatherly still out in front. And Marvin Panch has taken over third place. Marvin Panch is driving car number 20. That car also set up by Smokey Unick, so he has two cars running in the first three right now. And now into the pits is car number 29 moving in there. A car driven by Nelson Stacy of Cincinnati, Ohio. He's come in for fuel, and it may be that they're going to try to take the right front tire off that car. Down the backstretch, Fireball Roberts and Joe Weatherly. Weatherly out in front. Fireball Roberts is second. Marvin Panch is in third place. In fourth place is car number 24, Roscoe Thompson. Junior Johnson is in fifth place in car number 27. And now Nelson Stacy goes out, a very fine, fast pit stop. And he's back in the field. He was running about 15th when he went in. Roberts, Panch, Junior Johnson, and Thompson. They are now on the 17th lap of this 100-lap race around the 2.5-mile Big D Tri-Oval at Daytona Beach, Florida. A perfect day for racing. The temperature is 86 degrees, a light wind from the southeast, and the racetrack is finding it ideal. No carburation problems. And it's not really too hot as far as tire wear is concerned, but of course it'll be a grueling afternoon. And we'll be back in just a moment with more exciting action from the Daytona International Speedway. And now, as the cars flash by us, Fireball Roberts has regained the lead from Joe Weatherly. Marvin Panch is running third, and the boys are now in their 19th lap. Of course, fuel is an important item. We anticipate they'll be stopping around the 40th lap for fuel. They'll probably have to make a stop around the 85th lap, and they probably will have one tire change. But as Fireball Roberts goes down that backstretch, he is now pulled out to about a 7-car length lead over Joe Weatherly. So that's the way they stand. Fireball Roberts, Joe Weatherly second. And a car blew up just as he came down the straightaway. It looks like it went to car number 99, driven by George Alsobrook of Hiram, Georgia. And he is definitely out of the race. He won't even come into the pit area. George Alsobrook is out of the race. His engine blew up, the telltale blue smoke coming out, and he is a casualty in the race. And they're changing the right front tire on car number 27. Junior Johnson of North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Chris Economaki has a better view. Chris?
We're standing alongside Johnson's car here at trackside, and the routine tire changing is taking place with this track temperature today registering 124 degrees, the outside temperature 98 degrees, with a tremendous strain on the drivers and the mechanics here at trackside at Daytona. They're using vacuum wrenches to speed removal of the tires. We have one of the stewards here who is clocking the pit stop. This is apparently a routine stop. There's no malfunction evident on the car. They're gassing it up. The nuts are being put on the back wheel. The driver was given a drink of water. They wiped off his sunglasses. And now there seems to be a little bit of a delay in getting the right rear tire on. The mechanic had to put the nuts on with his fingers. The jack has been removed. There's air hoses under the front of the car. And this is a rather long pit stop. They're bringing the hoses rack on the other side. The chief mechanic on this car is Crawford Clements, and Junior was the winner of the 500-mile race here at Daytona Beach 2 years ago. Won $19,600, and now he's getting out of the car for some unexplained reason. We'll try and find out what's wrong here with Junior Johnson as we bring our cables and so forth to the side. Junior, for the benefit of the television audience, can you tell us what the trouble is here?
Blistering tires.
Blistering tires. How's the car performing otherwise?
Nothing, just blistering tires.
Just blistering tires. You're changing tires all around. Junior Johnson.
Now they're on the backstretch. That is Fireball Roberts out in front. He is on the 34th lap. He has completed 33, and he's been blistering the pace. We had a report earlier that the temperature on the track was about 120 degrees. Fireball Roberts has not been into the pits as yet, and we anticipate that in about another 7 or 8 laps he might be. Here he comes. And now let's watch for the second place car. Car number 3. Car number 26 is in third place. So Fireball Roberts in his 61 Pontiac, followed by Davy Pearson in his 61 Pontiac. George also broke his out of the race with a blown engine. Roy Tyner is out with a blown engine. Emmanuel Servakis went out with a broken camshaft. Buck Baker is out of the race with a broken transmission. And Buck's son, Buddy Baker, is in the race, but he had to stop for quite a while for repair of a broken water hose. So we may have the temperatures taking their toll right now. Fireball Roberts is coming out of the number 4 turn, heading down the tri-oval into the home stretch in first place, and a pretty good battle going on for second. Here's Roberts out in front, lapping a car. Jack Smith pressing Dave Pearson for second place. That's a pretty good battle going on. Let's keep our eyes on them for a minute. Pearson is in the white car, and Jack Smith is driving the car number 46 in the red 61 Pontiac. Pearson still holding the lead down the backstretch. Well, a crowd of 33,600 witnessing the Firecracker 250 in Daytona, Florida, and standing by now in the pit area to give us a rundown on the activities in the pits at this, the 38th lap of a 100-lap race, is Chris Economaki. Chris? Having trouble locating Chris Economaki in the pit area. I can tell you this, that there are several cars out of the race. Buck Baker is out with a broken transmission. Roy Tyner is out. Manny Servakis is out. And now we have Chris Economaki in the pit area. And Chris, from you now, a quick rundown on what's going on as far as temperatures, tires, and so forth.
Well, down here at the pit side, it seems that the excessive heat, the track temperature has jumped 4 degrees since we talked to you last, to 128 degrees. The 50-lap distance on a tank of gas seems to be almost an impossibility today because of the very hot pace. We're opposite Freddie Lorenzen's pit. We talked to the crew chief, Ralph Moody, and he says he's going to bring him in not later than 45 laps because they just can't get a 2-stop race out of it. This means we'll have more pit action before the race is over. Now they're coming down here, and this is almost murderer's row on the pit lane here. I'm directing traffic as these drivers go by me. Right close here is Roscoe Thompson coming in, and we'll see what we can do about finding out what's going on. And in the meantime, back to Bill Fleming in the tower.
Now, Fireball Roberts is approaching that point where he's going to have to come in for fuel pretty soon. He is in his 40th lap right now. These cars are getting about 5 or 5.5 miles per gallon. They have a 22-gallon tank, and it is rigidly inspected, so there's no possible way to get more fuel. And with the temperature down on the track, as Chris told you, being very high, we're going to definitely have a 2 pit stop race, and it'll be a question now of when Roberts will be in. Pearson is in the same boat. He has to come in also. A 2-second lead by Glenn Fireball Roberts as they move into the 41st lap.
And now here we are in front of Banjo Matthews' car. He's one of the few drivers that wears glasses. Banjo, how's it pretty hot out there? Hot as the dickens. Hot as the dickens. He looks pretty cool behind the wheel here. He's getting a real one-stop service. Bill Crawford is the mechanic on the car. And we're looking inside the machine. He doesn't show too much evidence of perspiration. The engine noise here is tremendous. Tires are going only on the right side of the car. Darrell Derringer, the Firestone engineer, standing here, and away he goes. And we'll have the official time, and the gasoline is spilling out of the back of the overflow tubes. We're going to check the time on Banjo's pit stop from one of the NASCAR stewards here. What was the length of time on the stop, please? How many seconds? A 44-second stop for Bill Crawford and Banjo Matthews, as I said, from Asheville, North Carolina, who is a modified stock car specialist. And now back to Bill Fleming in the tower.
Marvin Panch is dropped quite a ways back, and in car number 46, Jack Smith is in third place, and car number 28, driven by Freddie Lorenzen of Elmhurst, Illinois, is in fourth place. Roberts and Pearson's picked up a little bit on him in the backstretch. Pearson trying to close that gap, and as you see, the car race now, as Pearson now closes the gap even more. That's Roberts up high, passing a car on the inside. Pearson right behind him, also passing a slower car. And we'll put the stopwatch on them as they come by. We've had all kinds of records broken. Fireball Roberts setting new track records every time he goes around. Less than a second now between these two cars. So Davey Pearson has picked up ground on Fireball Roberts. Dave Pearson, 26-year-old, Rookie of the Year last year in 1960, the NASCAR Rookie of the Year. Second leading running winner on the Grand Circuit this year. And Fireball Roberts, a real veteran. And there's a fine battle on for first place as Davey Pearson is picking up the gap. Dr. Fireball Roberts is pulling into the pits, and this is the first stop for Fireball Roberts, who won this race in 1959 and who has led most of the way today. He's pulling in on his 41st lap. And Chris Economaki is standing by down in the pit area. And Chris, I think you have a little better look at him than we do as he pulls into the pits. And it looks like they're changing the tires. Chris, can you see what's going on?
Well, our equipment won't reach down there, Bill, but we can see that it's a routine stop engineered by Smokey Unick. And if you'll notice, the pit signs are being waved frantically at the other drivers in the race. 40 laps, that's 100 miles to come in for gas. One of the white Pontiacs is in there, the Hedges car, which David Pearson drove to victory and shut. And there's a very quick stop by Roberts. It was just for gasoline. Apparently his tires are holding up wonderfully well. This tremendous fuel temperature here may cause some excessive tire wear. We don't know, but Roberts is back on the track, and these boys are doing some miraculous work in the pits. In some cases, the drivers are having a bucket of water thrown in their face to cool them off. And now back to Bill Fleming in the tower.
A fine pit stop by Glenn Fireball Roberts. At the end of 60 laps, or 150 miles, the leader is Davey Pearson from South Carolina. He flashes by us, car number 3. Fireball Roberts is trying to overtake him, and I think he's got him on the short chute into the number 1 turn. Fireball Roberts has regained the lead from Dave Pearson. It's Roberts, Pearson, Lorenzen, Jack Smith, and Bobby Johns. We are into the 62nd lap of this race, and that, you can see on the backstretch, is all the difference that separates these two cars. Car number 22 out in front, a car length behind is Davey Pearson in car number 3. But the big story right now will be, can the Fords go with only one pit stop? Lorenzen has only made one pit stop. Banjo Matthews has only made one, and the fellow to keep your eye on right now is Bobby Johns, who made his first pit stop at the end of 52 laps. He was in for 43 seconds, the fastest pit stop of the day. Fireball Roberts still leading. Davey Pearson as they head into the number 1 turn. Well, yesterday, these boys were standing around talking. We thought it'd be kind of interesting to talk with them, so we got out here bright and early this morning and had a chance to chat with many of the drivers. And Chris Economaki talked with Fireball Roberts, who is leading the race right now, and let's listen to what he has to say.
We have here a phenomenon that exists at no other track in the country, that of the wind turbulence. You drivers call it drafting. Can you tell us a little bit about the technique of drafting and how you handle it?
Well, first off, if the people could imagine the draft of one of these cars like the wake of a boat, maybe they could understand it a little better. And that's exactly what happens out here. We have a wake of air that you can't see, but it's just like a boat in the water. So if the front car breaks the wind for the car in the rear can run faster on less horsepower.
Well, let me ask you this. The front car pushing its way through the heavy air and gets a car in its tow. Is this a disadvantage to the leading car?
It is if the car following doesn't run directly in line with the car leading, because he upsets the natural turbulence off the side of the car and it slows down both of them.
How much speed can the car behind you pick up in your wake?
Well, that depends on how fast the car in front can tow him. Sometimes they can pick up as much as 7 or 8 miles an hour.
I see. Well, thanks very much, Fireball Roberts, for your views on drafting here, and good luck in the Firecracker 250 this afternoon.
Thank you, Chris.
Fireball Roberts giving you an idea of what it's like to be drafted in the race driver's use of that word. And Fireball Roberts is out in front, but we now have a new second place car. Freddie Lorenzen, driving a 61 Ford, has moved into second place. Lorenzen in car number 28 from Elmhurst, Illinois. The blonde, handsome bachelor, 26 years old. The car set up by Johnny Holman and Ralph Mooney is in second place. So it's Fireball Roberts, Freddie Lorenzen, Dave Pearson has dropped back to third place, and Jack Smith is in fourth place, and we have been having one whale of a race here today in the Firecracker 250. We are now on the 69th lap of a 100-lap race around a 2.5-mile track. And the story will be in the pit stops. Fireball Roberts came into the 42nd lap, and as they go by, Freddie Lorenzen's right behind him. Freddie Lorenzen right on the tail of Fireball Roberts, and Dave Pearson is in the car in third place right behind them. So there are your leaders as Fireball Roberts goes high on the outside. Freddie Lorenzen right behind him, and he has only made one pit stop. Bobby Johns came in at the 52nd lap for gasoline, and he's going to try to go all the way, and he now is only 10.5 seconds behind Fireball Roberts. So we potentially have any one of 8 cars who could come on in and win this race in the final 30 laps, and we are now on just beginning the 70th lap. When they come by, they'll be into the 70th lap, and here they come. Boy, is it close. Fireball Roberts, Lorenzen, Davey Pearson, in that order. We've had tremendous records broken all around today. I say tremendous because they're not broken by a tenth of a second. They are broken by 1 and 2 and 3 miles per hour all the way through the race. We've averaged at the end of 125 miles, or half the race, 155 miles an hour. Well, your leaders going into the final 30 laps, Fireball Roberts in car number 22, followed by Freddie Lorenzen in car number 28 of a 61 Ford, and Dave Pearson in car number 3, followed by Jack Smith. It's a real battle, and here they come. That's all that separates your leaders right now. Fireball Roberts is Freddie Lorenzen, and Lorenzen's going to try to take him if he can do it. Turn, a car in a skid. And it's Fireball Roberts, I believe. Watch him closely. A beautiful job of getting out of it. Fireball Roberts lost control of the car in the number 4 turn. Car is coming into the pits. Let's check on it. It's Marvin Panch. Marvin Panch in car number 20 went into that spin on the 4th turn. No, check that. It is not. The car is still down on the inside. They're going to push it. It's 22. Fireball Roberts has gone into a disastrous spin down on the 4th turn. Disastrous from the standpoint that it will put him definitely out of the lead in this race. It's hard to say what actually caused it. The engine might have blown up, the rear end might have seized, or he might just have lost control of the car. Bill France, what is your viewpoint on it? As you put the binoculars on him, do you have any idea what might have happened?
I don't think it was anything mechanical because he's coming in there. I believe he possibly blew a tire. He's got a right front tire exposed. You can see it in the camera from here.
Yeah. Well, what a miraculous job of driving Fireball Roberts did. As you saw him go into that spin, he was leading the race, and part of that tire is still up on the turn. Part of the tire, I believe, is still up on the turn. It looks like a hunk of it, a big swath of it up on the turn. But here he comes. It's the right rear. It's the right rear tire. And that is going to put Fireball Roberts out of the race, which means that Freddie Lorenzen is going to be back in. The debris has been cleared off the track. And no caution light is out, and they're racing under the green flag. So Fireball Roberts has a real heartbreak here as he comes into the pit. And as you saw him spin, it was a real tough one to come out of, and he came out in great shape. No other cars were involved. Boy, is that tire hot. You can see the mechanic on the tire just throw it to the ground. They're going to try to keep him back in this race. After all, there's still quite a bit of money at stake. Now, Chris Economaki, what's going on down there? Can you see closely?
Our cameras are on the number 22 car of Fireball Roberts. And this is another example of the hometown heartbreak experienced in so many races here at Daytona by the Fireball. He's back on the track now after wearing out a tire. We like to make it clear that these tires do not blow out, they wear out. And that pit stop was about 36 seconds long after a failure and a spin in the corner. Back to Bill Fleming in the tower.
Well, Roberts had to make a pit stop anyway, so the only time he lost was the additional time of the spin and getting the car started and back onto the track again.
Watch me.
Glenn Fireball Roberts, who spun out on the 80th lap, is still in the race. He had two right tires changed, the front and the rear. The right rear blew out, and he spun around, came on into the pits, lost precious seconds, and Freddie Lorenzen then took over the lead, car number 28. And you're watching him down the backstretch right now. Freddie Lorenzen driving a 61 Ford in the lead, and in number 2 position, according to all our calculations, is Bobby Johns, who has made only one pit stop. And he is in car number 72. Bobby Johns trying to go the entire distance of 250 miles with only one stop for gasoline. But here's your leader, Freddie Lorenzen of Elmhurst, Illinois. Dave Pearson is in 3rd place. Jack Smith in 4th place. Marvin Page is in 5th place. Joe Weatherly, who led and challenged Fireball Roberts earlier in the race, is still in the race, but he's having transmission difficulties. Freddie Lorenzen still out in front. He is right now the 5th leading money winner, $16,000 so far. And Davey Pearson is officially in 2nd place. So car number 72, you see there, is not in 2nd place. That's Bobby Johns. But Bobby definitely has a point of strategy in his favor. He has only made one pit stop, and with 7 laps to go, the question will be whether anybody else will have to go to the pits for another stop. Davey Pearson has already made 2, but we've had tire wear, as Fireball Roberts found out. He blew out the right rear tire. And Freddie Lorenzen goes into lap number 95. And your leader now, with 4 laps to go, he's on the 96th, is Freddie Lorenzen. Handsome, blonde, 26-year-old bachelor from Elmhurst, Illinois, born in Chicago, finished 3rd in the 1960 250 Firecracker race here a year ago, and he finished 4th in the 61 500. And I might remind you that the 1962 Daytona 500 will be run right here on this speedway on February the 14th. So your leader right now is car number 28 as he flashes by, and he is on the 97th lap. Davey Pearson in 2nd place is about 7 seconds behind. So if Freddie Lorenzen can keep that car together, Freddie Lorenzen will be the new champion of the Firecracker 250. And it's kind of an interesting thing, I think, when you realize that of the 12 big Grand Circuit races during the past 2 years, we've had 12 different winners of those races. Very difficult for the fellas to repeat or to win 2 in a row. Freddie Lorenzen is now in front. He has never won a big race, but he is very well on his way to so doing. Bobby Johns, incidentally, who had made only one pit stop, has now come into the pit area and is apparently out of the race. His car slowed down in the backstretch. We don't know whether it blew up or whether he ran out again or what, but he's out of the race. On the 98th lap now is Freddie Lorenzen, and Dave Pearson is picking up some ground on him. Pearson is only 4.5 seconds behind. He picked up 2.5 seconds on this last lap. So Dave Pearson is in 2nd place, and Freddie Lorenzen is in 1st. So it still could very well be a battle for 1st place. That's Lorenzen right starting the backstretch now, 3,000 feet. And behind him, the 3rd car behind him is actually in 2nd place, and that is car number 3, driven by Dave Pearson. That's the white car On the inside, down low, that's Davy Pearson, and he is running second. And here's Lorenzen coming down. Pearson is jockeying for position. He's gaining on him. He's only 2 seconds behind now. Davy Pearson, with those stripes down the back of his 61 Pontiac, is only 2 seconds behind the leader, and we have 2 laps to go. Lorenzen is on lap number 99. You can see the amount of ground that Pearson has picked up. He is the car, 2 cars behind Lorenzen. And it's car number 3 moving up on the outside, and he's going to try to get the lead here. He's got the lead. Car number 3, Dave Pearson, has the lead from Freddie Lorenzen. And so we've had a dramatic change here in the last 2 laps. Reminiscent of a year ago when Jack Smith overtook Cotton Owens and won this race here at Daytona in the 60 Firecracker 250. And here they come on the last lap now with 1 lap to go. They'll get the white flag. Pearson out in front. Lorenzen right behind him. The white flag is on. And what a battle goes on as Lorenzen tries to come to the inside. Pearson stays in the groove. Goes high into the turn on the number 1 turn. We have less than a lap to go. A grueling pace of better than 155 miles an hour. Set by Fireball Roberts on many of the laps, but he's spun out. He's not in contention now. Davy Pearson, who ran second most of the race, has taken over the lead. And Freddie Lorenzen is in second place. There they are, bumper to bumper as they go down the backstretch. They're now halfway through this 2.5-mile tri-oval. Less than a mile to go now as Lorenzen is behind Davy Pearson. And here's where it could pay off. The checkered flag is coming out. Pearson, can he stay with it? Lorenzen tries to go low. Pearson's going to have to stand on it right now, all the way down. And here comes Lorenzen. They're half a car length apart. Less than that, and Pearson is in front. Wow, what a finish. Davy Pearson winning the second big race of 1961. He won the Charlotte 600 on May the 21st, and he becomes the first man in about 3 years to win 2 big races in a row, and he is going to be one of the most promising of the young drivers. And we'll be back in just a moment with the winner of the Firecracker 250.
The well wishes right now. Congratulations, David Pearson.
Thanks, sir.
David, was a great race. Tell me, how tough was it?
Real tough. It's tough all the way.
How do you feel? Are you physically exhausted?
I'm going to give out the truth.
About ready to get. Why don't you sit down here or
No,
get
I'm
up on
all
top of the car? Well, congratulations. When did you know you could take Freddie Lorenzen?
Well, I didn't know it till I did. I tell you the truth, but I thought I could the last lap.
Did you draft him to take him, or did you just use sheer horsepower to get by?
Well, it takes both.
Takes both.
Yeah.
Well, this is your second big win, World 600 at Charlotte. How old are you, Dave?
26.
And how about your family?
I got two boys.
2 boys. You make your home in Spartanburg, South Carolina. What kind of business are you in there?
That's all.
I see. Well, we'll turn you back over and back to Bill Fleming in the tower. We'll come back again with the trophy presentations in a few moments.
Well, it was a tremendous day here at Daytona Beach, Florida, with Dave Pearson nosing out Freddie Lorenzen for the championship of the Firecracker 250. And now Pearson becomes the first driver to win 2 Grand Nationals in succession. Here's the order of finish. Dave Pearson, a 61 Pontiac, the winner. In second place, Freddie Lorenzen in a 61 Ford. In third, Jack Smith, the defending champion, in a 61 Pontiac. In fourth, Marvin Panch in a 60 Pontiac. And fifth, Nelson Stacy in a 61 Ford. The time, and get this, the average speed, 154.294 miles an hour, beats the old record by nearly 8 miles an hour. It gives you an idea of how fast these cars were traveling today.
I thank you very much, and our congratulations go to young Dave Pearson, the second leading money winner on the NASCAR Grand Circuit this year with $26,000. He has now just won $8,300 for first place, and he will now become the leading money winner on the circuit. He was the Rookie of the Year in 1960. He won the Charlotte 600 this year, and I'm sure that the people who chose him as the Rookie of the Year in 1960 knew what they were talking about, because he is your new champion. He's sitting there on top of his car with Miss Mary Pendergrast, Miss Firecracker 250 from Memphis, Tennessee, and a very happy young fella is Dave Pearson right now. I'd like to thank Bill France Sr. and Bill France Jr. of the Daytona International Speedway for making our stay here in Daytona Beach a very enjoyable one. Our thanks also to Chris Economaki, who did such a wonderful job for us in the pit area.